Okay, so what is the process for solving a problem? Well, it's a 4-phase process, sometimes called phases, sometimes called stages. The first one is to understand the problem. You should spend time understanding the problem more than you think. Number 2 is to make a plan, design a plan. Number 3, carry out the plan. And number 4, look back, check, check, check. Now, the reason these are sometimes called phases and stages is that, of course, there's some overlap from one to the other, but learners should know what they're doing at any given time. So if you were going to go to a group of learners and say, hey, what phase are you in at the moment? They should be able to say, we're in that gaining understanding phase, or we're in the making a plan phase. You should know where you are in the problem solving process at any given time. Now, let me tell you why these 4 phases are so important. The first one is understanding the problem, and that's getting such a deep grasp of the problem that the rest of it will fall into place. What we see in the problem solving research is that most people get a rough idea of what the problem is, and then they jump into solutions really quick, trying to find a solution. Now, if the problem is easy enough, they solve it. But if it has any kind of complexity about it, they don't solve it, and they stay here, they just get stuck here. They don't spend as much time as they think in the understanding the problem stage. So questions to ask yourself here are like, have I seen other things like this before? Can I explain the problem to a child in the way that a child would understand it? Can I use my own words to explain it? Like, you really want an in-depth understanding of the problem at this stage. And in the next section, we'll give you some really tight strategies that you can use to do this. The next phase is the design a plan or make a plan stage. Now, very few people I've ever seen have ever been trained in how to make a plan to solve a problem. Making a plan is not solving the problem. It's thinking about the process of how you're going to get to a result. Now, what the beauty is if you make a plan, then what it does is it allows you to come back afterwards and look at whether you're correct or not, and then analyze your plan. Rather than having to do it all from memory, gee, did I do this, that, and the other thing? You can come back and look at the plan and adapt the plan as you go. So it really allows you to step back and to make changes to the process, which means you'll be more successful. The third phase in this whole thing is carrying out the plan. Now, the reason that those two are different is they have different types of thinking. Carrying out the plan is a lower order thinking process. So, for example, carrying out the plan might be making calculations, it might be measuring things accurately, it might be cutting bits of wood, it might be doing a whole lot of things. But you want to be really accurate on these kind of tasks that you're doing so that you get the answer correct. And that's a different type of thinking to understanding the problem and making a plan. That's higher order thinking, that's problem solving thinking. But when you come to carry out the plan, you want to get that right. So we separate those two phases so that the type of thinking is different. Now, the final part is the looking back, check, check, check phase. Looking back is looking back at your plan and ensuring that it works and it's given you a good result. There's a couple of different things here. One is that you can go back and create a whole new plan. Man, can I solve this problem in an entirely different way, and how would that work? So you're checking and verifying you're correct for lots of different reasons. The other thing that this part is so important is this consolidates the learning. Solving a problem this way and then an entirely different way and checking you're correct consolidates the learning to ensure that you're learning as well as possible. So just to sum this up, solving a problem is a 4-part process. Most people have had no training in this at all, but what you want to do is you want to improve your skills at the process, and that will go on and help you in your problem solving. And so we want to teach learners to do this. There are 4 phases that they're going to move through, and we're going to give them strategies at each of these phases as we go. So in the next section, we're going to look at those strategies, and that'll lead us into that first step that learners can take to solve a problem.